Hi, welcome to our weekly success tip video. This week we're going to be talking about prioritizing. And so this is basically just a short video about how to improve decision making and focus to kind of get the most out of your time and make sure you get everything done that really needs to get done and understand sort of what's important while you're, working through your STEM courses and your other courses and all sorts of things at UMBC. So basically today we're going to talk about what to prioritize, something called decision fatigue, which is very common among college students, the power of checklists, and then our kind of joke of how to, figure out what to prioritize, which we call Eat the Frog. So stay tuned for what that is because it's really fun. So the first thing is kind of what do I prioritize? So obviously, you're now in college, you're an adult, your life is complex, and college is a really tricky time because what we, talk about a lot is the idea that like you now have agency over your own life. You're making a lot of your own decisions and you are setting the priorities, which is new. And like anytime we do something new, it takes some practice and we have to get good at it. And we might, try and kind of not hit the mark a few times. But basically, we're kind of here to help you figure out, how to prioritize your things so that you get the most out of your college experience. So I want you to list your goals for the semester. So you can, grab the handout in our description box here. We always have a Google Drive handout for you that we share with you. So I want you to try to write down 10 goals on this piece of paper where it says write down 10 goals. They don't have to be academic. Again, like it says here, they can be personal, relational, or anything. Just write down 10 goals. Maybe it's like an athletic goal. Maybe it's a personal goal. Whatever. Write down 10. You can pause this video and write down 10 goals. All right, so good job. Now I want you to choose the five most important goals and try to get rid of the other five and like come back to them later in your life, not this semester. But if you get rid of some of your goals, you will realize that you don't have to spread yourself quite so thin. So I want you to just kind of think about, circle the five most important ones here. Okay, so decision fatigue. Basically, this is this conundrum that when we have more choices, it's harder to decide what to do. So this really applies to students when you are studying and doing homework and like trying to like figure out when in the day that you're going to fit things in. Because if you just have a block of time and you're like thinking of studying in this time, that's great. But if you haven't decided what you're going to do, where you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it, you have to actually think about all those things in the moment and make some choices. And number one, it wastes time because you're not going to the place you need to go and sitting down to kind of get your work done and make the most of your time. But you're also like, you're using a lot of brain power to try and make that choice. So we suggest spending time on Sundays and looking at the week ahead at, what's due, what homework are you responsible for, if there's any tests or quizzes coming up, write that all down somewhere, like on a Google Doc or a Word document or like a piece of paper, whatever, your phone, write all those things down, all of the tasks, and try to make the tasks really small, break them down. So I want you now to think about study locations because this is going to help you get the most out of your focus time. And then put blocks of time into your schedule for studying or homework that are no longer than 2 hours, because after 2 hours, you really need about a half-hour break if you want to keep going, just in order to kind of retain your focus. You just need to do a little bit of diffuse thinking to give your brain a break because it will just basically stop taking in new information and being productive. And so when you make your calendar, it will help you to kind of come up with, within each study block, which is 2 hours or less, where it's going to happen. So like the library on the 7th floor, or like your dorm room or the lounge, or maybe your room at home or the kitchen at home. Maybe there's a table in there where you like to study. Wherever it is, put a location in that calendar and then give yourself some specific tasks to do during that time so that you don't have to be thinking about it in the moment. And then I want to talk about checklists. So again, a checklist is like your best friend when it comes to getting stuff done because you see it, you want to get things done, you want to cross things off. It's really motivating. So this is just kind of an idea of a checklist of like, let's say you're taking, Chem 102, Bio 141, Psych 100, and Physics 111 this semester. It's a pretty heavy semester. That's 16 credits. So how are you going to kind of figure out what you need to do every day? So the checklist is here. And so you can see every day I've got that Chem 102 Blackboard practice assignment. And then the other days kind of have other things kind of going on. So like bio textbook reading on Monday and Wednesday in advance of class on Tuesday, Thursday, as well as notes, active recall practice like that. You've got physics problem sets to do. You've got Chem 102 reading, quiz, and homework and textbook reading. You've got psych reading. Maybe you've got a physics quiz coming up, so you've got to study for that. So here's all the stuff you got to do. And so now I want to talk about the prioritization part, which we call Eat the Frog. eat the frog is kind of a joke that means do the worst thing first. And then put everything else in order of priority. So you can see here, like an example is like, the thing I really don't want to do is the Chem 102 Blackboard practice assignment, but like, I know that I need to make this a habit and get it done every day so that I do better on the Chem 102 test because I get extra credit when I do these extra Blackboard practices, but I also get more practice in. So I kind of am more familiar with the material. So this is like the worst thing you have to do, and you got to do it every day. So you get it out of the way really fast. And then you think about the highest priority things. So like maybe on Monday, the most important things are the things that are going to kind of like boost your grade the most. So like the physics problem set, bio notes, and maybe a reading quiz, bio active recall practice. So taking those bio notes from last week's class and like putting them into your digital flashcard system so that you can practice those. Maybe the textbook reading for bio is a little bit lower priority because you're going to go over that material in class the next day anyway. Maybe your psych reading is also lower priority because there's no grade on actually reading the textbook. So think about like the kind of the most you can get, how do you get the best grade you can and what is going to contribute to that? And those things should be your highest priority. And you can just if you want to pause this and look at it and kind of understand, like you can see kind of the things that are graded or close to getting graded, like the active recall practice for bio, for instance, being really important because it's going to contribute to your understanding of this material in advance of the test, all those things. And you can kind of see what's important. And this might differ for you. This is just kind of like an example for a student who doesn't really exist that I just kind of made up. So anyway, think about, these things and maybe like circle them in different colors on your checklist or make the check boxes different colors so that you kind of understand what needs to happen first every day. And you kind of do it in order of priority. Okay, so thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great one, guys.